And let me share my screen. Okay. Can you all see my screen and the PowerPoint deck?
Not yet, no.
Not yet. Okay. Let me try this. Let me try sharing again. Ah, that's why. Okay. And now?
Yeah, there we go.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. Okay, so my name is Sue Hun. I'm a support technician, IBM support technician. And if you ever call into the IBM support helpline, you'll likely find me available there to help you. Today, the training is about the consultant reports that we're introducing to the IBM platform. And I just wanted to show you our agenda for today's training. We'll go through the purpose of what we're doing here today, show you an IBM overview and navigation of the system, and then we'll jump into the demo of the business process called consultant reports, and then we'll look at who to contact if you have questions and any Q&A after. I will be stopping in between the two demo set pieces, which is the overview and navigation and the consultant reports BP demo, so that I can give you an opportunity to ask questions. But if you'd like to hold them till the end, that's fine too. But in between those two demo sessions, I will also pause to see if there are any questions. Okay. So what is the purpose of today's training? And what is IBM? Some of you may already be familiar with IBM. If you work with AvalonBay on a number of projects, you may have used IBM already, but I didn't want to assume that you all have knowledge of it. So just to give you a brief understanding of what it is, it's a system that AvalonBay has integrated into all aspects of our project management, so that everything is included in one system and can be referenced by our internal and external users and manage our information efficiently, etc. We call it IBM. It's actually an Oracle product called Unifier, but as I mentioned, we've tailored it to our needs and we reference it as IBM. Today, I'm going to be introducing to you a new business process called the Consultant Reports BP, which is one of these processes and is a centralized one-stop shop to track and document all the consultant reports that we receive on our numerous projects. Now, what we're asking from you is no change from what you normally do. So we're not asking you to change, the reporting format that you send to us. If you send PDF normally or whatever sheets that you send, we want you to do exactly the same. The only thing that we want you to do differently is to upload it into our IBM system. So it's just a different format of communicating it to us instead of by email or whatever other method you previously used. Now it's all going to be in one central location so that the AvalonBay project team will all be able to reference it. And you couldn't miss them off a distribution of email or something. It will all be in one location. So what types of data are we collecting? Well, we'll be collecting reports that are for site visits and observations, testing reports, closeout reports, and any status updates on design reviews and submittal reviews. And what will you learn today? You're going to be learning about how to log in and navigate in IBM, and also how to utilize the consultant reports business process. So the IBM overview and navigation piece, what we'll be looking at is logging in and basic account housekeeping. And then I'll show you how to navigate around the system and also where to find some helpful resources, what we call job aids, to help you with that process that you're in here to help to upload your reports to. Okay. So let's jump right in to look at the IBM system. So when you first get to the login page, you're going to see this Oracle Primavera Unified login page where you'll be asked to put in your username and password. You'll see a forgot password link here. Now, I'm not going to do anything with this right now, but I'd like you to keep that in mind. You'll type in your login credentials that you've been provided, and please do note that the username and password are both case sensitive. So whatever you've been provided, make sure you type them in exactly as is. Now, once you log in, you'll see we would like you rather to do some basic housekeeping. At the top here, you find your name, and what we'd like you to do is to click on it and go to the preferences option. And then once you're in this tab, you'll go to the security tab at the top, and we'd like you to change your password on the left-hand side. So in the current password section, you would enter in the generic password that we provided to you, case sensitive, making sure that you're adhering to the case sensitivity, and then put in a new password and confirm your password. Now, if you click on this little question mark here, it's going to tell you the format of how the new password, what the requirements are of your new password. So you've got to make sure that it contains a minimum of 6 characters, and that it must contain 1 number, 1 letter, as well as a special character. If you don't conform to the requirements, it won't save your new password correctly. So make sure that you do include a number, a letter, and a special character. Okay, and then once you have changed your password and said apply or OK, I would also suggest that you log out or sign out, and you do that by clicking the sign out here and then sign back in with your new password. That way you can make sure that you have set up your new password correctly. Going back to the preferences and the security, on the right-hand side of that tab, you'll see that it's got password recovery secret questions. Now, this is where that forgot password link on the login page, this is where this piece matters. We would like you to set up your security questions and answers, because if you do that, if you ever did forget your password, you will be able to use that forgot password link, and it will prompt you with the questions that you set up here, and you'll be able to answer the questions, and for the system to then provide you with a temporary password so that you can log in and then come back in here to change your password to something that's easily memorable for you. But if you don't set this up and you try to use that forgot password link, the system will tell you that you don't have any questions set up, so it can't help you. And because of that, you'll then need to call our IBM support helpline. So this is a way for you to kind of self-serve yourself and not have to reach out if you didn't need to. So that is a recommendation that we ask that you please set up your questions and answers. Another important tab is the region format, and we'd like for you to go in here to make sure that the 3 options here are set up correctly. So make sure that you've set it to English, that it's in the correct time zone for where you are, and then the date format is in the one that you prefer. The other items are as you deem, whatever you'd like, but these 3 are what we'd like you to set up for going forward. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is the tabs and how to navigate in the system. Underneath, once you go into the system, you probably see these 2 tabs here, Workspace and AvalonBay. Now, the IBM system is a bit like internet browser, where if you need to create additional tabs, and these are going to be where your project tabs will be, you just click a plus sign to create a new tab. And I'll show you how that looks in just a moment. But right now, what you might see when you log in is a Workspace tab and an AvalonBay tab. Now, neither of these tabs are used typically by our external users, so you actually can go ahead and close them if you'd like. The one tab that is always there is this one here. It's called the Home tab. It's a little house icon. Once you click on that, there is an option here called Tasks, and here is where you'll find any tasks that are assigned to you that require your attention. Right now, I don't have any in this this log here, but if you did see any, it would be here. You'd also want to make sure that your view, instead of saying received in last 7 days, which might be set to as a default, you want to make sure that it says all tasks so that you can see if there are any tasks in your court waiting for your action. So tasks might be something like a submittal, an RFI, it could be a contract, a change order, or anything that AvalonBay project management might send to you. So all tasks for all your projects will be here. The reason why I'm stressing all your projects is because if you wanted to look at something on a project tab, let's see, I'm gonna, oh, and this is how you would look up how you would navigate to a project tab. So as you saw, I clicked the plus sign to locate a project, and then I would just go ahead and type in a word, first word, Belltown, for a project. And you'll see that it will come up automatically. And hopefully your project teams have all set you up with access to the projects that you need access to. So when you start typing in a unique word like Belltown, you'll see the project to select from. But if you don't, and the project team haven't set you up, what you just want to do is contact the AvalonBay project team to ask that they give you access. But hopefully it should be set up. So once you see it, you type it in and it starts coming up, you just select it. And now I have a tab that's called the AvalonBay project tab. Now the tasks and draft section in here, if I go to the tasks, these tasks at the project level are only the tasks for this specific project. So usually I would suggest that you go to the home tab, because if you see tasks in here, this is across all projects that you work for with AvalonBay. So if you work with AvalonBay on 10 projects, if you had any tasks in any one of those projects, they will show here, rather than going to a specific project tab to see if you had any for that project. I can hear some audio on the line. Can everybody please mute themselves for a moment until I take questions? Thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, so as mentioned, you have project tabs here. If I'll show you another one. So as straight away as I start typing, you'll see that it comes up and I can do a selection. The project tabs that remain here, if I was to now sign out by using the sign out option here, and please take note that you don't want to X out the system. You always want to use the sign out option. That's the safest way so you don't lose any data. If I was to sign out now, these two project tabs that I have already pulled up will remain here for the next time that I log in. So that's something that's kind of useful. You don't have to keep searching for them, kind of thing. But if I didn't use the sign out, and let's say I was inactive for a period of time and the system actually kicked me out because I wasn't doing anything, well, then these tabs might disappear on you because you didn't actually sign out while they were there. So just to take note, if you do notice that they've gone, you just have to search for them again. But if you actually sign out before you get kicked out, then these tabs will remain open for you the next time you log in. Okay, so I've shown you how to log out, where the home tab is and how to navigate to project tabs. Now let's take a look. Actually, let's go back to the slide real quick. Current slide. Oh, any questions on that before I jump to the next piece? Nope. Okay, good. Are you all still with me?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, so looking at the consultant reports process is actually very, very simple. There are just 6 basic steps. Step 1 is log into IBeam with your username and password, which we've already done. Step 2 is navigate to your project. Step 3, navigate to the consultant reports business process. And then 4 is enter your data. 5, upload your report, and then you submit to AvalonBay. Simple as that. 6 very easy steps. Here is the login page that we saw earlier. This is the, at the bottom is the URL that you'll want to take note of or bookmark in your system so that you can access the Unifier IBeam login easily. And this demonstrates step 2, where we had searched for our project tab and clicked the plus sign and located it. And I will go through this in the system in just a moment. I'm just going through a quick step-by-step look at it on the slideshow. And then to navigate to the business process consultant reports, you'd go to the consultant field BPs, expand that, and then go to consultant reports. And once you're there, you click the create button at the upper left, which opens up a form. And this is the create new consultant reports form, and you'll complete that. Lastly, you'll make your attachment through the attachments tab on the right. and then you'll click send at the upper right. So basically, it's very simple as that. Next, I'm going to dive into iBeam and show you how that looks. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, so let's go to the Belltown project, and I'm going to minimize that. So as I mentioned, to get to the consultant reports BP, you'll go to, and BP, by the way, if you're not familiar with the term, is just a business process. So you might hear that quite a bit. To go to the consultant reports business process, you go to construction field BPs, and then it's the very first process at the top called consultant reports. Once you're there, you'll see a create button. So you go ahead and click the create. Now these are how the forms in iBeam would typically look. You'll notice we call these blocks. You see with the header that says note, record information, previous consultant report. These are blocks. If you accidentally or intentionally close these blocks, you can actually open them again. You know, if you suddenly realize, oh, where did that go? If that arrow looks like this, you'll see that it's been collapsed. So you can actually just open it again and see other information. Now, I would ask that you note certain instructions. So make sure that you do read. There will be instructions throughout the form. So take care to read and see what is required for the fields. Also, additional instructions, if you ever need them, might be available via what we call a tooltip. If you notice this little question mark here, if you hover your mouse over it, sometimes you'll find more instructions there, because we didn't want to crowd the instructions on the form too much. You might find something that's useful if you roll over for completing the form that way. Now on this form, you'll see gray fields and white fields. Gray fields here are non-editable. They will auto-populate from other information. White fields are editable, and you will be able to take action on them. Anything with a little red star next to it, those are required. So the record won't send forward until you have completed those. But these that don't have a red star means that you don't need to, but you can if you'd like to. So let's go ahead and complete this record. Now this field here, I'll demonstrate that after I've created a first record, because obviously if you haven't yet created a record, you won't have a previous report to pull into this. But I'll demonstrate that after we've created one. Now in terms of the report title, there is a format, and I'll send you some documentation after this in terms of what the AvalonBay team is looking for. But so I don't recall exactly what it is, but it might be something like site observation at today's date by Eric Young, or something of that nature. And like I said, I'll send you that documentation later, and you'll be able to see the exact format that they're asking for. And then report type, you'll select whatever report type you're submitting, and also the report date. Vendor category. Right now we're looking to collect, well, what's important to us rather are these three categories. We will be expanding these categories to include others. So that you'll see that enhancements shortly. So if you don't see the option that you want in here, you just go ahead and select other. And you'll see a vendor name here, and obviously this will be your own vendor name. And then here, this red asterisk item asks, are you attaching documents? Hopefully you'll be attaching your reports. So you say yes. This is actually just a kind of a reminder to ask you to upload your attachments through this tab on the right here. And then in terms of number of open issues, what this is we would like you to tell us the number of deficiencies that you have observed in your report. So if you had observed, let's say 10 deficiencies in your site visit, and 10 were still open, then the calculation will show that we're not in compliance at all. But if during your visit someone actually corrected that item, then we'll be 10% in compliance. every time that you create a new report, we'd like you to update these. So let's say on your first visit, you saw 10 deficiencies, and then on the next visit, you saw an additional 5 deficiencies. So the next time you create a second consultant reports record, you would accumulate that. So it'd be a running total. So it'd be 15 out of how many are now open. Let's say 14, because now you've seen some extras. So that's how that will work. Then at the bottom, you can add some additional information that you'd like the project team to know as well, if you have anything there. In terms of attachments, you will then go to the right-hand side here and click on the drop-down arrow and click the browse and click browse here and navigate to your report that you wish to upload. The other way that you can also do this is you can actually drag and drop. So you go to that folder. And let's say I had a number of reports that I wanted to upload. You can just select them and then just drag it in and drop it there. And then you just click the upload. And they'll appear on the right-hand side on this attachments tab. Okay, and once you've done that, basically that's it. All you need to do is click send, and it'll have the submit already selected. Now, what we would like you to do is to also include here members of the project team so that they are aware that you've uploaded a report, and they will then get a notification so that they can go into the system to view your report. So what you would do in the live environment, I forgot to mention, what you're seeing here is our test environment. So there is no actual data in here. Any data that you see is all test data. We use this only for demonstrations and also testing. So you won't see any actual users in here, but what you would do is you would start typing in the name of the user you're looking for from the project team. In my instance, I'm going to just select a test user. You can start typing, as I mentioned. Otherwise, you can also use the select button on the right-hand side. And once you click on the select, you should see a list of names to select from. And you can also choose people that way. Now, if you decided you didn't want to send to somebody, you can also X them out. And then once you've added the names in, you just click send. And the project team, the people that you've entered the names into the CC box, will get a notification to say, so-and-so has uploaded a consultant reports record for your review. Okay. Now, just one other thing before I create a second record to show you how that piece, pulling in an existing record works. Any records that are in this view log here for this business process is viewable by internal AvalonBay associates. They can see everything in terms of the project team. For consultants, however, you guys only see what your company has created. So nobody else will see your reports, and you won't be able to see anybody else's. You can only see your own reports that were created by your company. So let me go ahead and create a second record to show you how that other piece works. So down here where it says previous consultant report, if you were, let's say this was site visit number 2, and you wanted to provide a second version of your report that you had provided earlier, you might want to pull in an existing record. To do that, you'll see these two options here. One is a drop down, and if you click on that, it's going to say no matches found. If you ever see these two items together, you should always click on this one here. If you hover over it, you'll note that it says select. So you should go ahead and click the select button. And then what will happen is you'll see the existing records. And if you have more than one, you'd see all of them to select from, and then you select the appropriate one by double clicking. So once you've double clicked it in, it will pull in the record number as well as the details from the previous report. You can obviously, because these are white fields, you can edit them. So let's say you made another visit in 10 days time. You can obviously change that and the report date and all that kind of stuff. And so we'll be making this cumulative. Let's say I saw a couple more. This time we've got 19. and then additional descriptions if I wanted to, and browse, upload my report, and upload, and it will attach right here. Now I'm going to click send. Now this time it told me that there was an error, and you may not be able to see the full message, but if you put your mouse over it, you will see the full message, and it will say, are you attaching any relevant supporting documents for this record? What this error tells me is that there was a field behind here that had a little red asterisk. If you remember, that's a required field. So it's not going to let me send it forward until I've completed that required field. So I need to make a selection. So once I've said yes, then it's going to let me send forward. And again, I would make sure that I copy anybody in the in the project team that I wanted to be notified, and click send. And there's the second record. Now, while you're in this business process, any process for IBeam, in fact, there is a help document that you can go to. So right now I'm in the consultant reports business process, and this little question mark here will contain a document that gives you some information about the business process that you're on. And if you click it, it should, right now, because I'm in the test environment, it's not configured to, but if I went to the live environment, I can show you how that looks. So consultant reports. And if I click that little question mark help document there, it's going to download a PDF document for me, which I can open. And this is the help document that you'll see. It provides an overview of the consultant report business process, how to navigate to your project tabs, the steps to create a report, how to review an existing record, and also some general questions which we think you might have. So that's a useful resource. Again, for any of our business processes, that little icon is a help icon that will show you a resource that is available to help with the process. Okay, so let's go back to the slide. I think I've covered pretty much everything. I'm wondering, do you have any questions on the IBeam process consultant reports? Anyone?
I don't.
Nope. Okay, good. Hopefully that's because I did such a good job explaining it all. Who to contact if you do need help. So hopefully you've already got your credentials, but if you haven't, you want to contact your AvalonBay project team. They'll help submit a request for you. If you happen to get locked out because you've attempted too many password logins, then you'll need to contact, or you need a password reset because you've forgotten your password and you didn't set up your security questions and answers, then you'll need to contact the IBeam support team. So we have a number here and an email. If you are unable to locate the project tab that you're looking for, again, your project tab team rather is your first point of contact. They'll be able to help you with that. And then who can you reach out to if you have questions about the business process itself? If it's technical questions that you have, feel free to contact the IBeam support team. And then for the non-technical questions, I would suggest that your project team is your first point of contact. For example, like the naming convention, or, do you want me to upload this and that? They will be the people who can answer those kind of questions. But in terms of the business process itself, George Elias, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him at all. He's in our design team, or rather with our design team, and he helped create this business process. So he's very familiar with it, and he can help you if you have any questions, as well as our project control director, Wei Ui. Any other questions before we finish our session here today? Okay, if not, I thank you again for joining me today, and I will be sure to send you the recording of this session, as well as some useful resources that you might find helpful in using the consultant reports business process. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for
Great,
joining me.
thank you.
Appreciate your time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.